Okay, so what am I supposed to be doing with this one?
Okay, so this is one that is working on suppressing all the slow wave frequencies like delta, theta, and alpha to put you into a high focus state, and all those frequencies are represented here by this dark mountain range. And this line here, the idea is to keep the dark mountain range underneath the line.
So technically I'm doing quite well here. But you say it's focus. Am I supposed to focus on something?
Well, yep, you can focus on this itself and focus on this big bar graph, because you're trying to keep, say, as much blue there as possible. So you can imagine that you're pushing this down, this grey down, and then you can be looking at your percent rate of passing or failing, which is the amount of time you spent underneath this threshold.
So I'm doing spectacular. See? It's an interesting analogy. The second you start telling me, well, the second I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I can't do it anymore. And I think that applies for a lot of things in life. As soon as we think we've got it, that's when we've lost it.
Especially when you first sort of, playing around with it. But after a while, there's two levels going on here. If you just hook little kids up to EEG biofeedback, and say they've got a screen where they've got a little pixie running around collecting coins, I used to just tell little kids that, the pixie couldn't do anything without children's brain power. The pixie needed a little kid's brain power to be able to do things. So all they had to do was just concentrate on the pixie and give them some brain power, and then the pixie could run around and do his thing. So little kids don't question that, and they just believe it. So they just sit there concentrated. And so without any conscious volition or understanding what's going on,
they're doing it.
Yeah, the brain's hooked up in a feedback loop with itself, and it all happens. Yeah, and with adults what happens is that initially many adults want to understand, how is it working and what should I be doing, and they try all these strategies of controlling it and get in the way of themselves.
Yeah, and which is the story of our lives.
Yeah, so initially it's about just sitting back
and letting go,
being engaged, just with the awareness and the intention that, okay, I'm hooked up in real time here, but to relax, remain focused. But later on, adults and, say kids from 12 years up can then develop a higher order learning where they begin to experiment and develop sort of strategies where they can start to manipulate things more.
So that's really interesting, because what you're saying is once you've got the hang of letting it go, you can get your control back almost.
That's right. And it's just like, say, learning to drive a car or something in the beginning. You have to be so focused on what you're doing, and it seems so complicated. And then later on, you develop a feeling for it, and you develop these higher order competencies, and they start becoming more and more unconscious again. But you're actually gaining more control.
So letting go first. Okay. So the long and the short of it, because what I'm after here is the secrets to enlightenment, which of course is what everybody is after. And you are saying that if I practice this, it will at least teach me the concept of letting go, which of course is one of the major steps of getting there.
Yeah, what it's all about is tuning the brain and developing skills of, that sort of mental self-control, so that you're capable of journeying into the deep altered states where the true, journey of enlightenment begins. And also having a tuned brain enables you to hang on to, the experiences and the effects that you get from those deep trance states.
The idea of this is that anybody can do this, right? It's not subjective, like go and meditate. I can't meditate, it doesn't work for me. Anyone can stare at a computer screen, anyone can sit with these things on and try and focus on this, and that's the whole point, is that right?
That's right. Okay. And see, initially too, it's all well and good to say I want to be enlightened, but hey, there's steps. And the first thing is, tuning and remediation. And so sort of getting yourself into a state where, you feel more calm, you feel more switched on and focused though, And so when people are in that state, it tends to bring the best out of them anyway.
Yeah.
But when people are stressed, they'll downshift into negativity. They become more self-centered, more short-term thinking, more self-destructive, and destructive towards others. So the first step is cleaning the act up, getting a good basis, and then moving on from there.
Okay. And this program has all those different steps, right? Because you can work on. You were saying that if I put it up under here, I can work on anger.
Yep, anger, fear, anxiety.
Okay. So just very quickly go through the different spots here: anger, fear, anxiety. Here.
Prefrontal lobes will.
Self-control.
The right side, it definitely all about inhibition control and emotional control. Left side is about happiness and joy. Right side, if it's overactivated, you tend to find it very difficult to look into the future positively, and you tend to sort of ruminate negatively about the past and feel anxious and negative about things. And these temporal lobes are all about emotions and also long-term memory, and play a role in short-term memory.
So if you had a drama with a relationship and you were distraught and you had memories and you were emotional about it, that would be a good place to start getting under control again.
Absolutely, especially the right side. You could do right frontal, temporal, and then this cingulate cortex, because its job is to select what you focus on and to attach an emotional tone to your thoughts. So when you've ever been in a situation where you are so upset and worried, your thinking becomes so focused and obsessive, and there's all this emotional charge around it. Well, that's the cingulate cortex, its job. And then if it becomes so overactivated, it actually it's like a middle manager who's supposed to hand up information to the senior manager to make the decisions. This middle manager has lost the plot, and he's making all the decisions and just cut the senior guy out of the picture.
Yeah, I see. So look, I like this because I'm a bit of a scientist, and I don't. I like to be able to see scientifically provable evidence of what you're doing, and this is clearly, very, very strongly based in science. But of course, there is the old problem, whether it's a scientific practice or a spiritual practice, you've got to practice it.
That's right.
When we can bottle that, we will be sweet.
Yes.
So if someone wanted one of these, where would they get them?
Well, you can purchase EEG equipment, and that's there's a sort of field there. Or like what I do is that I do all of that, and then I rent out the system to people and set them all up, and I manage the training.
Okay, well what I'll do is I'll have a practice over a period of time, and then we'll let our viewers, if they're interested, we'll put some details up there, and then they can look you up themselves and try for themselves. I've always wanted to do this for years. I actually looked into it myself some time ago, but I couldn't find anyone over here doing it. It was all in America. So I'll risk looking stupid for a while, and in the hope that I will find the ultimate peace.
That's right.
Thanks very much for that, mate.
Excellent, pleasure.
Nice to meet you.